Well, it's Thursday, and you know what that means. Not only we're going to be reviewing TNA wrestling, as you know, we are building up until the next pay-per-view, but also some interesting matches that have taken place. Then we move on with, of course, Ring of Honor. We have some very interesting two four-corner survival matches. An interesting dilemma coming between Nyla Rose and her story taking over as Minion Overlord and all this other stuff. But first things first, we're going to be reviewing the latest All Japan Pro Wrestling show that is normally produced by Rising Hayato, but this time he decided to get help from his tag partner Atsuki Aoyagi with, of course, new Age Chronicle-Z. This is the latest one they did on a Thursday, so basically this is going to be a lot of fun. And of course, for our news updates, majority of our updates was mostly going to be the updates with the promotions on their events as well. So this is something that we definitely going to get out of the way. There's too much of it. So let's get started with another episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Hey everyone, welcome to Deleted Wrestle Zone. All things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel where we do a lot of pro wrestling reviews, not only from promotions from here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK, anywhere in the world where pro wrestling is not as big, but it continues to grow. We also do discussion videos, talk about the wrestlers themselves, the promotions, factions, storylines, whatever we want to talk about. We also do more news updates. If I'm unable to put it on this episode, I can put it on a separate video by itself. We also do real-time news updates on what's been happening as well. We also do new Sayaka Watch and various other things. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us. So click on that subscribe button and you'll be getting a lot of daily reviews and other cool content on this channel. But if you like this episode, please give us a like on the like button or a nice comment in the description down below. Now, let's begin with All Japan Pro Wrestling with New Age Chronicles Z3. Now, this will happen just now, recently on a Thursday. This is a show that normally is produced by Rising Hayato. Those who aren't familiarized with him, he is this kind of guy. Well, he kind of looks kind of gayish, but no, he is a fantastic wrestler. He's amazing. He's one of those wrestlers I say, why hasn't this guy won the junior heavyweight title? So he's one of those guys. But the added wrinkle of this show, he brought his tag partner, someone who he tags normally during the junior heavyweight times, is Atsuki Aoyagi. Basically, he helped produce the show himself as well. So they come out with the theme song with the song with Basket Case by Green Day. That was a very appropriate and coming down to address the fans, giving them the lowdown of the matches and all this other stuff. And I'm sure he told everybody have a good time and enjoy the show. Now, our first match, we have Ryo Inoue. He takes on against Soma Watanabe from the promotion GLEAT. Now, it's no secret that we have seen All Japan Pro Wrestling and GLEAT have a working relationship in some sorts, bringing talent from their promotion and bringing going to their promotion, that sort of thing. But Soma Watanabe is one of those wrestlers that I love watching. This guy admires Kota Ibushi. Yeah, you heard me right. This guy met Kota Ibushi. He wants to be the next Ibushi. But nonetheless, he has to face against Ryu Inoue, who I have to say he's a fantastic junior heavyweight competitor. But however, it was Soma Watanabe with a devastating drop kick to put away Inoue to pick up the win. Next match, we have a very interesting match. David versus Goliath type. We have Imabari Tal Mascarat versus Hideki Shrek Sakin. I can tell you that Sakin actually murdered Mascaras with a big lariat. Now there was a moment that he seems like he was unconscious. I don't know what happened to him. So he looks like when he came to, he looked like he came back from the dead. But he did a promo. I don't know what he said to him, and I'm sure Sakin said something back to him. But yeah, but he looked more like but he's okay. He's okay. He just still shaking over what just happened. Now, our next match, we have a very interesting tag match. We have Shotaro Ashino teaming up with Kuma Arashi, who we haven't seen for quite some time in All Japan Pro Wrestling. They take on the Saito brothers, Jun and Ri. Now, but all of these guys are powerhouse wrestlers. You probably would think that one will do the other, but however, the Saito brothers have been one of the most dominating tag teams in All Japan Pro Wrestling. Not to mention having the World Tag Team titles and the G Infinity Tag title. So that says it all. But however, it was a double choke slam onto Arashi. Then Ri Saito pin. What's his name? Arashi to pick up the win. Next match, we have a very interesting trios match. We have Okito Omori, Sodai Monji, and Ren Ayabe. They take on Yuma Aoyagi, Yuma Anzai, and Ruki Honda. Now, here's the kicker. Anzai and Honda have been a much steady, capable tag team. They were even tag team partners during Real World Tag League, even though there were like one of those to say that they were the fan favorites, but they team up with Yuma Aoyagi. But however, it seems like they did pretty well. Not to mention, it was Anzai who picked up a huge win when he applied a German suplex on Ayabe. However, um, Aoyagi was saying a little promo, but for whatever reason, Anzai and Honda were not having it. Basically, they decided, that they're not going to dictate by someone by him. But I feel like those two are much stable without anybody in their way. It was more like you're just a hired help. We don't need your blessing or whatever. I mean, it feels like they were not having it with him whatsoever. I don't know. But even though there's no English translation, that's what I feel they're probably saying. Now, our main event is Dan Tamura teaming up with Hayato Tamura. It's not the first time these two team up. They have teamed up in Gleet before, but they face off against Rising Hayato and Atsuki Aoyagi. Now, here's the interesting part: Rising Hayato has teamed up with both Tamuras. You would think that both of them are related, but no, I don't think so. They may have the last name, but I think it's just a coincidence. But I think this is where we see more of Tamura, who he may not be a high flyer in my opinion, but he's an excellent submission specialist for a junior heavyweight, and I think that's sets it out. But he also has great power that comes within him, and that played out pretty well because he pinned Aoyagi, and it was over right from there. So, not to mention another huge success for Rising Hayari and Hayagi for this produced show. We'll see if there's more coming up later on this year. I think that's pretty much with All Japan Pro Wrestling. Let's move on with TNA. Okay, TNA Wrestling opened up with Chris Sabian taking on John Skyler. Now, this match came about a week ago. Now, if you guys remember, Chris Sabian, apparently he was issued a challenge by none other than Mustafa Ali for the X Division title. However, John Skyler is like the kind of guy, pardon my language, that he would kiss ass to Mustafa Ali because he believes that change needs to happen. Like he feels that someone needs to take away that X Division title off of Chris Sabin. That's exactly what he thinks. So that's the kind of match where he says, I'm gonna beat him up, beat Chris Sabin up for Mustafa Ali. So that's what it generally seems like. But please don't count out the Chris Sabin. I mean, he is an OG in TNA, and it played out pretty well because it was the Cradle Shock that put everything away for Sabin with a good win. Now, during an interview with Gia Miller, she talks to Alex Shelley. As you know, Alex Shelley has exercised his rematch clause, and he will get another shot for the TNA World Title at No Surrender later on this month. However, there is one thing that kind of got its attention, and that attention is, of course, the system. Now, the system claims that the system works. Well, he said by one, the system's going to crash. So I think what he's indicating that he's going to take out every member of the system one by one. And I think that's the general consistency of what he's talking about. So I'm kind of curious how that one's going to play out. Excuse me. Anyway, our next match is a bit of a rematch over, what was it, a week ago or two. Now, Tasha Steelz, as you know, suffered a loss thanks to Xia Brookside. Brookside talked about that, but of course, Tasha Steelz does not take a loss very likely, so she demanded this match. Now, you probably would assume, okay, will Xia Brookside pick up another win? Because people will always say, lightning doesn't strike twice. Well, you can say this lightning did not happen because apparently Tasha Steelz did pin Xia Brookside, but with the assist of course, using her tights to win the match. Even Xia Brookside posted on her X account that she's telling TNA, did you guys see that? So I wouldn't be surprised if we do see a feud between those two. That is something that I think it will happen at some point, or from here on moving forward. Now, as you know, the ABC are dealing with something in their title reign. As you know, their titles are on the line in a two of the three best series were against the Grizzled Young Vets. Now, they were not happy how the result was last week. How, of course, you know, the Grizzled Young Veterans got away with the win. But they're confident to believe that they could walk out as winning the next match in order to tie the whole thing. But unfortunately, the Grizzled Young Veterans overheard everything. They're trying once again, being the whining little babies, claiming that they are the next tag team and all this other stuff. Attack the ABC, especially taking out Ace Austin Zarmov. So I don't know how he will be, but I'm sure the ABC are not going to let this stop them, no matter what the Grizzled Young Veterans say or do. Now, we all heard about what Frankie Kazarian said. He is tired being the nice guy. Jake something confronted Frankie Kazarian, telling him that he used to look up to him. And of course, Frankie tells him, well, then stop looking up to me. And of course, Jake's obliged to, saying, that's exactly what I'm going to do. There was a moment where you look at Frankie like thinking, did he just do the wrong thing? I mean, we have seen wrestlers say they look up to their heroes. You mean like that? You know what I mean? You look at Eddie Kingston. He looks up to Kawada, who was one of his favorites. Not to mention he met him last year at the G1. That sort of thing. But we'll see what happens. Now, our next match, we have Speedball Mike Bailey taking on Zachary Wentz. Now, as you know, the Rascals and Macklin were happy for what they did to Nick Menace last week. Mike Bailey was like just minding his own business until he runs into the Rascals and Macklin. So you would have assumed that this match would have been in favor of Zachary because he has Trey Miguel, as always, to get in the way. And that's exactly what happened. But it was Zachary Wentz with the UFO cutter that put away Bailey, and then it became a beatdown at the end. And luckily, Trent Seven, who we were supposed to see at Hard to Kill due to travel issues, he showed up. And then Macklin showed up. And then all of a sudden, we see Nick Menace showed up as well. So basically, we had a interesting thing showing up. I mean, yes, I think Nick Menace may have found some new friends that he will be teaming up to deal with Macklin and the Rascals. So we'll see where that leads. Now, as you know, recently, with Crazy Steve winning the digital media title, apparently Rhino is going to teach him a lesson. So he sent a direct message to him. about everything else, what he's going to do to him from here on out. Now, our next match, I would like to say this could be the last time we see Trinity. She teams up with Jordynne Grace to take on Savannah Evans and Giselle Shaw. So basically, as you know, Giselle Shaw has exercised her right to challenge for the TNA World Knockouts title, which of course is going to happen at No Surrender. So the obvious thing is, how this will be going down. I mean, people would think that it will be a crying shame that if Trinity doesn't pick up a win when she leaves, it would be messed up. But luckily for her, she applied a code red and then modified it into a Starstruck on Savannah Evans to pick up the win. So I have to say Trinity walks away with her last match with TNA with a good win. Now, Diener was about to do his little video promo until he was interrupted with AJ Francis. And then, of course, Diener like saying, I'm not here to deal with Joe Hendry. And he goes, don't say his name. And then all of a sudden, say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry. Of course, Diener did the clapping, and AJ's like, why did you clap? I don't know. It's like he was possessed to do it. But anyway, Joe Hendry, once again, getting under the skin of AJ Francis. But Diener told him that he doesn't need his help. But I'm sure Joe Hendry probably will take that as an advisement. I don't know, but we'll see. Now, as you know, with the design actually dead, Khan has went out on a rampage and did a 2-on-1 type of match against, I'm going to say up a couple local guys, Richard Adonis and Ori Gold. However, he smitten one of these guys up and picked up the win easily. Then he tried to snap their necks until PCO showed up. So it became this entire process between PCO and Khan. I mean, you can say Khan thinks when someone dies, they stay dead. But not with Khan. He's not going to stay dead because you say he should stay dead. That's always been one of those things we probably would see. Now, our next match, we have Alan Angels versus Josh Alexander. If you guys remember, a week ago, Alan Angels debuted the so-called sound check. And he actually said some things to Josh Alexander that he did not like that led to this match. Now, you would think that this match will be something interesting. Well, I can tell you that Josh Alexander put one pain in the butt away, and he put Alan Angels in the ankle lock to win. However, when he was walking away after having a huge victory, all of a sudden he was attacked by a fan. Nobody knows what it was, but I didn't see security get involved, but I was thinking that it was part of the whole storyline. And it turned out to be someone who I did not expect. Even Matthew Renwall was surprised. It was Simon Gotch. Simon Gotch attacked him. Now, why would he do that? Now, I'm not very good at guessing. Let's just leave it as that. But I can tell you, if I have to guess, as you know, Josh Alexander has always been a standout wrestler and proven the type of wrestler he can be. So I'm going to assume that Simon Gotch is going to take that. It's like, oh, so you think you're good, huh? Let's see what you're made of. But, of course, as soon as this whole ordeal passed, Tom looked at Renwall. He tells him, did you know he was coming? Look, I known him for many years. I did not know he was coming. So basically, he was saying, this is something I was not aware of. So hopefully next week we will find out. Now, our main event, Eddie Edwards versus Alex Shelley. Now, as you know, that the system's saying that the system works in their favor. But Alex Shelley's going to prove otherwise, that the system will crash. And that's exactly what's going to go. But however, Eddie Edwards has his main squeeze, Alicia Edwards, to get involved as well. But unfortunately, it did not do any good because Alex Shelley picked up a huge win by pinning Edwards. However, here comes Brian Myers to turn this into a 2-on-1. And then Kushida and Kevin Knight showed up just in the nick of time. So now you ask yourself, does the system work? I have to say the system needs a little more, how do I say this? Recalibrating, if you know what I mean. So we'll see what happens from here on out moving forward in TNA. I know that many people are still wrap their minds after what happened with Scott D'Amore and all this, but I can tell you this, that TNA will be fine for now. But if there's anything that goes on that we need to know about, I will reveal that as soon as possible. So I think that's pretty much it right now with TNA. I believe it's time for Ring of Honor. Okay, our last review, Ring of Honor. We have opened up with the Workhorsemen, Anthony Henry and JD Drake, taking a couple of luchadors named Cyrus GT and Brillante RB. Now, they never verified whether these guys are from any promotion, especially down in Mexico. But I'm going to presume that maybe they're local talent or talent that they picked up. I don't know. But I can skip ahead and tell you that this match was one in favor of the Workhorsemen, with thanks with Anthony Henry picking up the pinfall on Brillante. So that sets it all right there. Our next match, we have Aaron Solo versus Ethan Page. Now, as you know, Ethan Page is on a mission as we speak, who is determined to win the ROH World Television title from Kyle Fletcher. So, as you know, he's been racking up some wins from moving forward, and he was able to pick up a win with Aaron Solo when he applied the Ego's Edge, and that was over. So, at this moment, Ethan Page's record is 6-0. So, he hasn't lost a match since then. The last one he had was against, of course, Tony Nese, but that story is in fact officially over. Our next match, we have a very interesting tag team match. Hijo del Vikingo teaming up with Cero Miedo. That's right, Penta. They take on the guys of KM, and the one person that Serpentico hates the most, John Cruz. So yes, basically, you probably ask yourselves, why does Serpentico hate John Cruz? Because he is Serpentico. That's why. He has a split personality. So, shh. So anyway, you probably would think that this match will fall in favor of Vikingo and Penta. Well, it did because, unfortunately, Cruz ended up on the wrong side of the fear factor, giving him a very impressive win. Now, our next thing we see, of course, is Lexi Neer talking with Billie Starkz. Now, as you know, Lexi Neer has to deal with you wouldn't say verbal abuse, but the more verbal demand from the so-called minion overlord, Nyla Rose. Now, as you know, Nyla Rose claims that she is now in charge of things, which, of course, Lexi is like not okay with it, but what she can do. I mean, as much as she would like to fight back against Nyla Rose, she can. So basically, she is trying to get Billie Starkz to get on board. It's kind of like, get on my bandwagon or else, that sort of thing. But Billie Starkz has nothing like that in mind because we all know what her true goal is. And that goal is to win the ROH World Women's Television title. That is her main goal. Now, we were supposed to see Johnny T versus Dalton Castle's friend. Now, I literally forgot what the name of his friend, but of course it turned out to be nothing to Dalton Castle. This became like a no contest type of match. But the one thing that Dalton Castle is asking, what's it going to take for him to pick up a win against him? What is it that he wants from him? So Johnny TV told him that that's next week. So we'll see what happens. Now, Shane Taylor Promotions have put the entire tag team division in Ring of Honor on notice and the AEW Locker's room. So as you know, they're walking into back for revenge for simple, setbacks that they had. So we'll see where that's going to lead them from here. Now, while Lexi Neer was about to talk, apparently Maria picked up, caught her and apparently dragged her into an area where we see Angelico being attacked by none other than Griff Garrison and Cole Carter. Well, not scratch that. It was Serpentico, but something was odd here. If you guys remember, Cole Carter and Griff Garrison stole his mask. it was a decoy just to take out Angelico. And then the real Angelico wearing a black mask showed up. So basically, he is not happy with this whole thing. So sooner or later, this is going to be payback for a Spanish announce project against them. Our next match, we have Billie Starkz versus, what's her name? Aria Thorn. Yeah, sorry, my writing's a little messed up. So anyway, she faces Aria Storm, but all of a sudden, Nyla Rose showed up with a table. Now, I would presume that this is her way of saying that she wants Billie Starkz to get on board or else go through the table. But however, it was a brilliant chokehold by Billie Starkz to pick up the win. But as soon as the match was over, Nyla Rose was determined to tell her to accept her offer as her minion overlord. But however, she told her she had a surprise for her, and it turned out to be the return of Athena and gave her one shot forearm, and she got landed through a table. So that practically shows Athena still owns the Ring of Honor. Now our next match, we have a women's four-corner survival match. We have Trish Adora versus Kiera Hogan versus Diamante versus Layla Hirsch. Now the match was pretty good at some point until Diamante decided to pull out a chair and try to whack Layla Hirsch. But however, luckily Layla Hirsch's BFF grabbed the chair and took it away. But unaware, Rachel saw Rachel was on the other side of the ring, try to keep the chair away from her. Diamante pinned Nyla Rose and then, of course, used the ring ropes. Ref didn't see it. So basically, this was a very ingenious plot by Diamante in order to pick up a win. Even Layla Hirsch asked her about what happened, and she says that she saw with the chair and she didn't see what happened until it was over. So basically, Layla Hirsch knows there was nothing they could have done because, as you know, everybody's fighting for for a chance of the ROH Women's World Television title. So we'll see where that goes. Our next match is an 8-man tag match. We have Griff Garrison and Cole Carter teaming up with Lee Moriarty and Shane Taylor of the Shane Taylor Promotions. They take on the Infantry, Sean Dean, and Carly Bravo, along with Iron Savages. I think this match I like how this whole thing turned around when they said they're taking everybody to, from this Teddy City, and the Infantry saluted, and I'm like, oh my god. Lee Moriarty's like, no. So, but however, we did see Carly Bravo at some point drinking the sauce. I thought that was crazy. You probably would have thought that this match was going to fall in favor of the Iron Savages and the Infantry, but in fact, it was a flatliner by Lee Moriarty onto Bravo to pick up the win. Post-match, Serpentico showed up to get his mask back from Maria, but apparently Cole Carter and Griff Garrison attacked him. Well, he attacked them first, and then he tried to get his mask back, but they attacked him again. So as probably you would think that this war between both idiots and Spanish Announce Project is far from over. Now, our next match, we have Gravity versus Lee Johnson. I have to say Lee Johnson has grown up significantly. It's only a matter of time until he finally reaches the top. I wouldn't be surprised if he is one of those guys you would see he would challenge for the television title or possibly maybe the ROH world title, whatever it comes first for him. But he picked up a pretty good win. I'm not sure what kind of move he used to finish off Gravity. It looked almost like a brainbuster, but no. But yes. Our next match, we have Taya Valkyrie versus Killer Kate. You probably can guess this match ended with Taya Valkyrie when she applied the curb stomp, and it was over. Now, our main event, we have Jack Cartwheel, AR Fox, Willie Mack, and Commander. Now, you probably would see a lot of spots taking place in this match. Yes, I have to say this is one of those fantastic closing matches, but in the end, it was a Commander with a running through the springboard shooting star press onto Jack Cartwheel to pick up the win. I would like to see those two on one-on-one, but yes, but Commander picked up the win very nicely. So I think that's pretty much it right now with Ring of Honor. I believe it's time for news updates. Okay, so welcome to our news updates. Now, we're going to focus on updates with the promotions on their events, like who's booked, what matches are being put out. Now, we have a whole list with Prestige Wrestling. Now, I haven't been keeping up recently with a lot of their events. Now, let's begin from their current upcoming event for this month, which is, of course, a Moment of Violence, which is going to take place in LA real soon. So, if you guys are any of my subscribers are from the LA area, hope you got your tickets. If not, then you may have to order it to watch it. Um, One of the matches we're going to have is Mike Bailey versus Mustafa Ali. I know that's going to be a banger of a match, so I can't wait to see it. We do have a tag team match. We have winners and sinners and Saints. I heard of these guys. I think, yeah, these guys are supposed to be like one of the newcomers. They take on against the West Coast Wrecking Crew, Royce Isaacs and Jarrell Nelson. And then finally, we have a very interesting match. We have Sonico versus Kushida. So that's going to be a really fun match. Now, next month, they will have their Alive 2 show that will take place on the 24th of March. Alex Shelley has been announced that he will participate and will put the Prestige title on the line. We do have a trios tag team match, a three-way tag team match. The Flaming Aces, I don't know who they are. Midnight Heat, I know who they are. Normally they actually appeared at Defy Wrestling, and then of course there's Los Suavecitos, a couple of guys from LA. Then of course we have Roseland 8 that'll take place on April 14th. We have the War Dogs, David Finlay, Gabe Kidd, and Clark Connors making their appearance. Zack Sabre Jr. and Trish Adora are set to return to Prestige Wrestling. But they also announced Kevin Blackwood taking on Mustafa Ali. So he's on a roll for throughout 2024. And then, of course, later on in April, on the 26th, we have uh, their next show called Pride and Prestige in Las Vegas, Nevada. So that's going to be taking place there. However, they even announced that, of course, the Pink Striker, all the way from Tokyo Pro Wrestling, Miyu Yamashita, will be participating as well. As you know, Prestige Wrestling has a working relationship with Tokyo Pro Wrestling. Then, of course, a month later in May, they have a new show called Alive or Just Breathing. I think this is one match we definitely want to see. We have Shelton Benjamin taking on Josh Alexander. That's a match I would definitely want to watch. Now, for our GCW updates, for the Keep in Touch show taking place on March 2nd, the GCW World Title will be defended. That disgusting Blake Christian defends the belt against Eric Cannon. I think I heard of this guy. I think he was part of. I think he mostly appeared in AAW. I'm not sure, but yes. Danhausen has been announced to return to GCW for throughout the entire month of March for 3 shows on March 9th in Atlantic City, March 23rd at Detroit, which is of course his homecoming, and then finally at Rochester on the 29th, which is of course already been announced. Now the 24th of March actually, the 24th of March. Now, however, I already found out that the name of that show for GCW in Rochester is now been called The Block is Hot. So yes, they announced not only Danhausen making his appearance, Dark Sheik will be there, Billie Starkz will be there, Microman, and of course the current GCW World Tag Team Champions, Violence is Forever. Now, certain changes have been made for the upcoming JCW's Jersey J Cup on the 9th and 10th of this month. Apparently, Rina Yamashita sustained an injury and she has to be pulled away from this event. And of course, she posted out a statement about this. I think it was her apology to the fans who were who wanted to see her. Let me pull it up real quick. I know I saved it somewhere. Ah, here it is. I lost it. Anyway, she just apologized to everybody about that. All this, but they did announce for her replacement, and that will be another Mr. Danger. I'm sure he'll do a fantastic job, but we'll see where that leads us. As you know, I mentioned Galeno de Mal, who will be participating in Progress Wrestling in the UK for their upcoming show, Chapter 169, Diamond Dust. That'll take place on March 3rd. He will be facing a guy's named Tate Mayfairs. Now, I have seen Tate Mayfairs before in Rev Pro, so we'll see how that match turns up. Now, DDT Wrestling, as you know, they'll be participating at the Collective in Philly in April. They announced for 3 wrestlers from the AEW promotion that will participate. We have Nick Wayne, who recently did a tour last year, and same thing with Brian Keith. So yes, the Bounty Hunter will be there too. However, they didn't even announce that Billie Starkz will be there, but mostly with participating with Tokyo Pro Wrestling. So that's pretty cool. Now, as you know, the Philly stuff is happening, has been announcing. There's a collaboration between both Wrestling Revolver and House of Glory on the 5th of April in Philly. Grizzled Young Veterans have been announced that they will participate as well. So that's pretty much it with all of our events. I think that's pretty much it now. So I believe it's time to call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoyed this episode. Coming up for our next one, we do know that we have AEW Rampage and NXT Level Up. Now, I was originally going to add another review for this one, but due to my time limit that I had, that made it impossible at the moment. But I was going to do Pro Wrestling Noah, but I'll do that on the next episode. I am behind a little bit with some of the events. I still haven't seen the much recent MLW show, Super Fight, and of course, I think that's pretty much it with that. But for now, I think this is what we have for everyone. So until then, I'll see you guys in the next DWZ time, same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye, and have a nice day. Bang.